Dumpo the Clown here. I'm hacking the algorithm with this stupid wig. Now you gotta watch this stupid show. Hey everyone, Brento here. Trying out some other costumes to see how that works for promoting the show. I hear you gotta do unusual things to get noticed on YouTube, so I figured, hey, I should dress up like a clown, right? And there's probably some of you watching right now like, oh, great, a clown show. I get to watch a clown for the next 2 hours. That's an awesome idea. Unfortunately, that's not going to happen. I'm just playing the video games, and that's just to start the show, because I do that with... I don't wear the wig every show, but that's it for this show. That's as much clowning as you get. You got to go to City Hall if you want to see real-life clowns. Oh, my. Okay, so what's in the show today, you're asking? Aside from some cool video gameplay, some simulated reality here, some alternate economic modeling that could maybe not ruin us all. What's in the show? I'll tell you what's in the show. I have an invention idea I'm going to share with you. Okay, I'll share that a little earlier in the episode. You don't have to listen to it. It's a good idea. Some of my ideas, I think, might be patentable. You might see in 20, 30 years ago, hey, I saw it first on Dump City. It was an idea. Everything starts as an idea. I'm going to talk about the Darien Gap. It's something that most people in North America don't know much about. I'll share with you my favorite clown, right? If I'm going to dress up like a clown, I'll tell you who my favorite clown is. I have an idea for if Elon Musk were to sponsor the sequel to Workers and Resources here, the video game we're playing. Just an idea he could put in the game. If you're in this more for the gameplay, you might go, hey, that makes sense. That Elon could sponsor a sequel. Maybe Tencent or one of the gaming companies would dump some money on it. You know, the Chinese Republic sequel that you'd think would exist. An idea for a new mini-series, like a drama. You might find that interesting. I think Microsoft is spying on me. I'll tell you why later in the show. Some things I've noticed are a little unusual. 3 levels of shocking lies people tell other people around them. There's 3 levels of lying, okay? And finally, the biggest media scam of all time is going to get exposed in this show. So I'll break that down later. There's quite a few other topics as well. We'll jump into those as needed. I might do a few of those a little bit early, but without further ado, let's get back to gameplay here. So what's new in our world? Well, we have a rail distribution office here. I put some rail cars in it. If you've been following the series, you know a little bit how a regular distribution office works. Flatbed trucks, cement trucks, covered haul trucks. They sort of manage your city for you. Soviet Los Angeles here is getting quite big. So it's gotten to the size where we need a rail distribution office to move goods from section to section and, more importantly, bring stuff to the borders. In terms of money, let's do this before I go over any other new developments, because this is really what this is about. It's about showing that we can sustain ourselves as an independent nation here. Rubles, we're doing great. 8.4 million borrowing power. Again, that's the kind of the measuring stick for whether we're going to succeed or not. But because we're closer to the western border here, our US dollars is more relevant. $1.4 million. So if you've watched the past few episodes, that is so much better than before. Like I said, we were under 100,000 2-3 years ago. Like, just building another block of houses was risky at that point. So we just squeezed out of that. We tightened our belts and we got through it. Now our rail system, it's complete now. We have bi-directional rails. So in the past year, our purchasing power has increased. It's not quite complete. We have a few bits of tracks still getting built here. Ultimately, the main line from our Los Angeles / Dump City metro area will then be basically done. Going into China. I repositioned a crossover piece of track here so that a third train can fit in there. We kind of need that with our rail distribution office. In terms of what's happening in Houston, not much of interest. Because our rail line's connected here, however, we might be able to start pulling crops in to supplement all around our main rail line here. In case you're wondering, if maybe you skipped a few episodes, like whatever happened to Money Train? Here's what happened to Money Train. It's getting ready to be scrapped, okay? It helped us for a while, but new Money Train's taken over, and it's got 5 wagons, and it moves goods really fast, and is doing things more efficiently. While we're here, one of the topics I wanted to cover here is this idea of, last episode, I learned how on a train we could have an advanced setup. So if you're playing the game here, normally you set up your scheduled routes where, you go from custom house to the warehouse back and forth. We pick up crops at the custom house and we unload the stuff we manufacture. And then at the warehouse, we unload the crops and we load the stuff we manufacture. But I never really understood how the advanced setup worked for these wagons. Last episode, I talked about how you could specify only carry a certain resource, where you select a good and then you click carry only this resource. But I thought to myself, that's of no use for new Money Train because it has 2 types of goods. It has crops or food. But then I realized you can forbid resources. So what I've done here, I've allowed 2 different resources in the wagon. So in wagon 1 and 2, it's crops and food. 3 and 4, it's crops and alcohol. And then the last wagon is crops and clothes. And furthermore, you can actually, you see how it says 22 tons? If you select this, I can select how many tons of that resource can go in this wagon. So once you do this, if you're concerned about your wagons only being able to take the same amount when you schedule up your routing, when you do this by customizing each wagon in your train, you allow for variable ratios. So for wagon 1 here, I use the max amount of food, but for alcohol, instead of 44 tons, it's only using 40 tons. So it's like 10% less, and then go to wagon 5, and that's good here. Money Train isn't using the rail distribution office. It just goes back and forth, moving goods, upgrading their value, and then selling them as fast as possible. So that's what new Money Train does. What else is going on here? Probably hit a little bit of play while I'm touring here. So in last episode, we did tourism. You remember our hotel and all, oopsies, I didn't have heating and the first year wasn't good. We actually had no tourists show up in my tourist episode, but check this out. We got tourists showing up here. And I don't know if that tourist ad campaign made any difference. I suspect the reason they might not have been coming is because I had max price on everything and the actual hotel didn't have enough heat when it first started, and there was literally people freezing in the hotel. So that was a bit of a problem. This year, I added this new hotel here. It's the discount hotel, but I call it 5 Stars Hotel. So this way people will think it's, a better hotel. It's a brand name. It's the name of the hotel chain. It's the tourist review agency wouldn't allow me to call this 5 Star Hotel. So I call it 5 Stars Hotel so that this way people will not confuse it with a 5-star hotel. Tourist buses are supposed to show up shortly. Maybe we'll keep an eye on that. Actually, I'll load this up here. We'll see if anyone shows up while we're looking around. What else has happened between episodes? Oh, I started laying out this area a little bit better here. This bypass here. I know I watch some other gamers and when they build their beautiful cities, I'm trying to build a nicer looking city. I know our first interchanges, like check out our first interchange here. I just thought it was funny because it's the Soviet Republic and it's not, this is our first interchange. Don't even have the other road done here, but what we're gonna do here is make a nice one here, a nice logical, smooth one. This was sort of planned out. It'd probably be a few years before it actually gets built. Maybe it's almost certainly a season 2 thing, but that was kind of done between episodes. What else is going on here? This little bridge got built and we're continuing in onto this district here. We're kind of staging the construction of the next zone, which will be Las Vegas over here. We need kind of a place to stockpile the goods and to set up a construction office to basically see if we can ambush it. I noticed on the Reddit forums, people quite regularly ask, is there a way to set up a city so that the communism spread in a city without everyone leaving? So the theory is if you ambush it in spring, maybe. I'm going to try it, but maybe as soon as you arrive, they all leave. So we'll run that experiment in a later episode. Look at that. We got a few of our first tourists in the 5 stars discount hotel. We have our first stoplight. Maybe you noticed it in the background last time, but we've been getting quite a bit of traffic here. I'll let you watch it here while I sip some coffee. I've increased the intervals quite a bit because I noticed that when I was short, it like long lineups were appearing. This might even be too long right now. So the 3 and 1 direction for green here, I think we're going to change that to 15. We'll see if that works better because I think this lineup was getting a bit too long, but that's something new. And just a side note, have you ever wondered if stoplights actually make things more efficient? Like, to actually verify if stoplights are improving traffic, you have to consider every time you stop at a stoplight, like you're waiting for no one, basically. How often does that happen? And how long do you wait for versus the time it takes at a stop sign? So I suspect that there's a lot of stoplights out there that actually make traffic slower, especially in late hours when I think stop signs are more effective. And I know when I was younger, the stoplights at a certain time just automatically would flash red, meaning they were acting like stop signs. The stoplights I notice nowadays don't do that anymore. And it just, like, as you know, we've been stating throughout the series, you know, capitalism and ignorance and just stupidity at the top levels is what makes everyone less productive than normal. And I suspect people's inability to manage stoplights is just a lost art. And I suspect if I'll say there's definitely some communities out there where a stoplight is like, look at this right here in the game. See, one guy goes through where more people wait. That doesn't make sense. The green light should be in the direction of where most of the traffic goes. Right now it's making sense again, right? Because there's traffic moving, okay? And now it's making sense again. Again, I put a stoplight on this intersection because I thought it made sense, but when there's no traffic, I don't think it makes any sense, really. I had an idea, okay? So we have ourselves a waste treatment facility. At most, it's had like 3 employees. Is it possible that now that we have this giant waste processing system in effect, that we should be buying hazardous waste, or more specifically, getting paid to import hazardous waste to process it? I think once we have the ability to make our own chemicals, I'm going to look into that. Comment below if you think that's an interesting idea, to getting paid to import hazardous waste. Would that make money? Has anyone ever done a number crunch on that? It seems like a strange industry because you make the money up front by importing it. Technically, you don't have to process it all. If you can just store it somewhere, you would just make money for a little bit. Is that an idea for like a way to play the game? Last episode, our heating plant was just getting developed. Now it's done. All the dumps are around it. And I've decided to start branding the heat plants here. So we're calling it Smellz Nice Heating, okay? Smellz Nice Heating. I had different names for all these. I'd call it a crematorium before, but now that we have 3 heating plants, I want to brand these buildings so that I don't get confused as what they are, because I give my buildings silly names and I'm starting to lose track of what they are. So this is a heating plant. And of course, if you call it Smellz Nice, kind of like the oil companies who make oil but have the green washing products where they call something eco-friendly or something, but they're still an oil company and they're just doing that, and it's not really eco-friendly because they think it's all a big joke and they just want all the money and they're going to destroy the planet and end civilization, and they'll be okay, but 99% of us won't be. So they use branding to do that. So I thought, hey, if they can do that, I can create a garbage incinerator and call it Smellz Nice Heating. What's the difference, right? I've also rebranded our 2 waste sorting facilities, Garbage Eater 1 and Garbage Eater 2. Without further ado, this is our new building, our rail distribution office here. I've set up a few routes here. Let's just check out if they've found something to do. If not, maybe we'll get something going here. Okay, this one's going to get some coal. Okay, great. And it looks like he's going to China, and it will use the new free spot here to pick up the coal. For some reason, just a bit of a side note here, we're dealing with aggregates. Coal takes longer to load than construction waste, so I don't know why that is. It just is in the game. And I think, okay, for now, we're going to get it from China. I was thinking maybe we could get the construction waste from Canada, but I might set that up offline to make sure it doesn't interfere with Money Train. Money Train can't have stuff get in the way, right? Like this here, this track builder seems to be in the way. Let's send the track builder in here, and we'll send this track builder in. And eventually we're going to have 3 track builders, but I got to do like a ballet with the track builders between episodes to get them to get through all the track here without clogging up our production facilities here. One of the objectives, what are we going to do in this episode? We're going to build Dumpovision. That's the build challenge for the episode, okay? That's why I was wearing the wig. We'll get into that as the story unravels and all these topics unravel. Like, let's see if we can build Dumpovision in this episode. I'll even get Hollywood helping out with this, high priority. I don't think we have much else being constructed. No, maybe we do. Our construction office appears to have a lot of vehicles in use. We just finished the rail distribution office. What is this guy doing? Oh my goodness. This guy has... I didn't even know the rail distribution office could load that many wagons. Okay. And they're waiting for something. Both of them are waiting for something. Let's grab some money. We're up to $500,000 borrowed per day. You know what it is? I bet you that stupid track builder, it's going to be in a really bad spot. It's going to be right. Oh, what's it doing? Hold on a second. This guy shouldn't be building anything in this area. Why is he there if he's building that track? Is he moving? Let's keep an eye on him. He's blocking everything. Okay, we have some lights here. Let's just make sure the signals are correct. There is some skill to this game here. Oh, you know what happened? We got to make some mixed ones here for now. This guy has some issues. There we go. Maybe that'll fix things. Let's see if he can figure it out now. I don't know what's going on here. Why is he even over here? You know what? He's going to have to figure this out later. I don't know why he would do that. In fact, I don't know why that bit of track was getting built as such a high priority. Let's see if we can find it. The track builder makes weird decisions sometimes. Okay, that should be a high priority. This should be a low priority. And this should be a high priority. Let's see which one he goes to this time. Silly track builder. Is he going to go to the wrong one again? Let's see. Of course, I bet he is. Yeah, going to the wrong one. We'll see. Now that I got the signals somewhat fixed up, he won't get stuck there. Oh, this is also had to be fixed. That's probably why he couldn't get out. We'll make it that. And I don't know why he went that way. It's just kind of silly. I thought this area was all done. I set up my final signals with everything, but I guess not. I got these nicely spaced out so trains can park on the main line in case there's something pulling out in front of them. So maybe that, I think that might fix it. All right. So Dumpovision is going to make Dumpovisions, not televisions. They're made out of garbage. As you know, this whole district recycles everything. It makes pretty much every part we need to make our electronic devices. And then we're going to be one step closer to economic independence. We still need chemicals. We're reliant on external chemicals, but we're almost economically independent nation. And once that happens, we can just screw repaying everyone, right? We don't have to repay anyone. We could just borrow, and never repay them because we can make everything ourselves at that point. But we're not quite there. So we're going to see if we can build up Dumpovision by the end of the episode. A random topic. We're going to talk about a military threat to many nations, and it's the 1,000-clown military threat. A lot of nations are at risk to everyone dressing up like clowns and walking around society. We rely on facial recognition software. We rely on audio identification software. Cameras do a lot of the security for us. And if everyone dressed up as a clown, I don't think our cameras would help us. The CIA and various security agencies in the world have to take seriously the threat of 1,000 clowns invading a community, because you won't be able to know who's who. And who knows what the clowns will do. Maybe they will create bad economic policy and make everyone, starve. Okay, whatever. That wasn't an advertised bit. That's why I didn't advertise it, because it kind of sucked. This idea of, okay, what's going on here? Oh, we don't have enough gravel. This is a problem. How do we not have enough gravel? We're supposed to be delivering gravel. I'm supposed to be showing you how to build things quickly in a single episode with a build challenge. And you know what? We failed the last two. So, I wanted to bring tourists in. I didn't bring any tourists last episode. And then I wanted to build this tunnel the episode before, and it never worked. So the ability to build this Dumpovision better not fail. What's going on here? It could also be, yeah, we're running a little low on construction waste here. Let's check out our trains here. This has never been tested before. This is brand new. Okay, so one of them's loading up coal. You could watch this a little bit. See, coal takes forever to load, though. Bet you this guy's trying to pick up gravel. Actually, no, this guy can't pick up gravel. It's trying to pick up construction waste. Why does it have all these other wagons on it? I should probably make that one go to Canada, but oh well. I think we're going to have to put a few more dumpers here in Coal Express. They kind of manage our gravel supplies here. Oh no, we have an error truck. That can't be good. Error? What's happened with error truck? This is money truck too. How come it's called error? I gotta rename it. Money truck. I think I used II. Maybe I gotta call it 2. Maybe I should call it 3 now. We'll call it 2. That's weird. It lost its name. That is a little strange. So we're really short on gravel. Let's see if we can... do we need to be selling? Yeah, cement is just... I think cement's a non-stop money maker. We don't want to stop making money. But I think maybe one of these... I don't think we're going to build any roads anytime soon. Here's what we'll do. I got to show you my elite gaming skills. It's part of the show, right? You can't do this. You could... Obviously, anyone who has any kind of entertainment training is going to be better than me at making a show like this, obviously. But can you play games as well as me? I'm going to say probably not. See, this is Coal Express. Going to pick up lumber? No. It's going to go and work here instead. Bam. That's my elite move. And what else is elite move? Well, that's only part one of the elite moves. The other part is I'm going to find a big dumper somewhere. And it's going to... Well, we could use a small one. Yeah, let's use a small one. It saves some money. It's better than nothing. And that'll bring more gravel in. Because this guy here should be picking up gravel from the Canadian border. Let's double check. Or the Mexican border. They load gravel. Do they load into the gravel buffer? If there's more than 10%, let's check. Yeah, 10% unload gravel. So some of these trucks should be dropping gravel off. And that's the show, right? That's what we're doing. If you're not familiar with the show, well, there you go. I just do this for a while. We know this guy's waiting because coal just takes a long time to load. Oh, it's almost loaded now. Oh, look at how long this train is. This is ridiculous. I didn't think the distribution office... Like, why does it bring these extra wagons? What else is it trying to pick up here? Okay, let's see what this train does. Let's see if it can even fit in here. I don't think it can. Like, this was tight to get this in here. Maybe it can. I don't think it will, actually. It might block one of these other trains. I think it'll load and unload before the other ones are done. Mixed waste takes forever to load. That's why I had to build this new one. And, of course, on the first try, it does not clear. Okay, I should probably tune this a little bit before presenting it, but hey, that's the fun of the show. You get to watch the failures of communism too. Wow, look how much construction waste this thing's picking up. That's pretty cool to watch it do that. I didn't realize all these wagons loaded construction waste. I thought only the first ones did. I don't know why it's bringing these other ones. Maybe have a look at that. I was not aware of that it could be used. Oh, gotta grab money real quick. We still are reliant on Canada for our electricity. Let's just have a look here at our cargo wagons. The mixed waste one, EAS waste. Does it take construction waste? It does. I had no idea. Wow, see, the distribution office makes up better route. I didn't even realize that. The purpose of those wagons was to pick up mixed waste. You know, they're the only wagons that do it, but I guess it doesn't need the mixed waste just yet, so it's just maxing out. Oh, but they load slower. Okay, so there's something, didn't know that. It looks like it's loading construction waste much slower in the waste bins, but the aggregate cargo wagons load the construction waste faster, so probably something being learned by even an expert player. Not that I'm an expert, but I'm getting close. I'm getting better. I'm just a generally good gamer, but I'm getting pretty good at this game now. Oh yeah, a few things between episode here. Our population at census time was just over 17,000. It was barely over a 300-person game. So in case you're happen to be watching the stream, we actually probably had the most deaths ever in our city last winter. That might shock you. We're 27 years in. And what had happened was our population grew so fast last summer that we did not have the heating capacity to deal with. So it kind of corrected itself. And furthermore, the hospital was overloaded. And I'm going to bring this back down because we don't need this many doctors again. But we had 50 to 80 people waiting untreated at any given time for much of the winter. So it was a bit of a disaster. So even though, statistics can mislead you, right? Because 300 population gain doesn't tell you that we had the most deaths, probably the most deaths ever last winter. It's kind of like capitalism misleads you, where it shows you the success stories, but it actually has some of the worst outcomes too. It definitely has the worst outcomes. Oh, look how slow this is loading. And I wish I could tell this to... Actually, let's try that. I'm going to send it back to Workplace. And I'm going to... I have an idea here. I think I can automatically unload those from the distribution office to go, because I don't want to wait any longer. We're completely out of construction waste. This is our first time we've been trying this. You can tell them to unload cargo. So we're going to bring all the cargo back here, and I'm going to press this button, see if it works. Hopefully our gravel trucks, okay. Oh, we have another dumper here. And do we have too many open haul trucks? I think it was an open haul. Oh, these are all really useful trucks. We got a lot of dumpers working here. I don't know if we can improve this much more. Actually, you know what we're going to do? Let's do this quick because I don't have time to mess around. So we're going to create a custom route here. We're going to load some gravel. And we're going to unload the gravel non-stop into here. Let's go. Let's go. We'll do that because we need the gravel to finish Dumpovision. Okay. So this will load gravel and unload it into the gravel bin. And, well, we actually have enough gravel showing up now. Okay, it's stuck again. You know what we're going to do here? I don't want to deal with this during an episode. It's probably one switch somewhere And we're going to stop building tracks for this episode. And these cars here that are delivering the workers, they're going to get repaired. That's part of the game. It kind of does its own silly things sometimes. And these cars kind of need repairing. Well, that one didn't need much for repair, but I want to... Ooh, did we just catch Brento's car in time? Yeah, we did. So we're going to send these for repairs and stop delivering workers for the episode. It should be going down this track here. And if you look at it logically, two-way here, and it could do either of those. But for some reason, it completely ignores it. You know what it is? It's trying to go through here. So you know what I think the solution is? You know what? I realize what the problem is. I can't build this yet. It's just not ready to be built. I have to build the aggregate loading facility. So actually, let's not cancel it just yet. We'll set that, and we'll set that, and actually, I think they might have still been on the route. I'll unflag for repair. They're not ready for repairs. Okay, and where is our... Is it in here again? Okay, good. Okay, now it should know to go somewhere else. Let's see if it figures a different one out. Okay, it'll do these. I don't know why it's skipped ahead and wants to do the further away ones, but these ones are a little trickier. I think it might be easier to build this first. Then it can just go through it and build it and not obstruct the main line. Let's see if our trains have returned with aggregate. Nope, not yet. Oh, here it is. Let's see if this works. See if we can catch this right on time. Now what's it doing? Oh, now it's going to get mixed waste. Where's the other train? Oh, it's still loading coal, I think. Oh my god. You know what? I almost want to buy another train just to fix this. You know what we could do? I got an idea. Let's send Money Train there. Let's see if Money Train can fix this. Money Train sucks, but like it might break down on the way, but I'm doing a show. It's ruining my show. While we do this though, I'm going to talk about an invention idea. Okay, so as many of you know, the China maglev is vastly superior to almost all US options, and pretty much makes the rest of the world look terrible. Basically, they're just so much more advanced, and they're already going into stage 2 of it, planning 1,000-kilometer-an-hour trains. So the question is, what would be a way to make a train go 1,000 kilometers an hour? And here's my idea. So a lot of people are talking about using like these vacuum tubes, like it's a vacuum, so there's no air resistance in them, so they can go up to 1,000 kilometers an hour. So my idea is, why do that when wind assisted makes more sense? See, the problem with creating a vacuum is it's so precise. A little hole can slowly let air into the vacuum, and then you got to pump the air out, and it seems like it's a very costly situation where maybe under capitalism it makes sense, but if we want to not kill the rest of the population due to starvation, then maybe it makes a little bit more sense to do it under, socialism and do it smart. I think a wind-assisted system makes a lot more sense. And the way I envision doing this would be with wind turbines, gearing, and a flywheel. So maybe it's like a 10-ton flywheel. You take the existing propeller systems, and then you gather energy and then put it in a store wheel, then manage it through the actual flywheel. And as needed, you increase the wind velocity in tunnels. Create, in effect, a negative air pressure on the front of the train. Therefore, it would work just the same as if we're in a vacuum. But it's not as problematic because like the system can have leaks in it and still move trains through, allowing for 1,000-kilometer-an-hour type speeds without having to have ridiculous power requirements on the system. It's also, I think, more energy efficient this way because the wind and the air assistance will effectively push the train, right? So it's adding extra effective power. The calculation's a little different than if you were to do it purely just increasing the power levels. I think wind assisted makes a lot more sense than vacuum if you want to reach 1,000 km/h type speeds. I don't know about my invention idea. I think it's a cool idea. What if it does exist in like 10, 20 years, we start seeing prototypes? Hey, you heard it here first. I've actually commented the idea on, maglev fanatic YouTube channels, so other people would have heard the idea there too. Some people actually liked the idea when I commented it, so I figured, hey, why don't I put it in the show too? This way, I gotta make millions somehow off this show, and 20 subscribers won't do. Completely out of construction waste again. That kind of sucks. Let's check out how our high priority project. Oh, we got all the excavators showing up here. And we got our construction office. I changed the construction office a little bit here. Like, we didn't have enough room in the main construction office. I want to save... Ooh, that's a good vehicle over here. I want to get one of those eventually. Mainly the vehicles hang out here. And we get workers there, and the U.S. construction office itself gets its workers from Los Angeles. So that's just how that's set up. Okay, what's going on here? What are they complaining about here? If I can find it. We need asphalt. We just need more dumpers. And this guy, okay, they're just on their way. Yeah, this is probably going as fast as it can go. Let's grab money here. I like this 500,000. A little easier to do the show. And let's check out our new hotel, our 5-star hotel. Whoa, look at that. Look at that. It's filled right up. Apparently this makes money. I think this might be why our borrowing power is increased. I think our tourist industry might be making a decent amount of money. I'm going to have to work on this. Like, we have some tourists waiting at the border. I'll have to set that up between episodes. Don't want to have that many there. But I am gouging them a little bit. So I'm expecting that number to go down because we know what gouging does. And I wanted to see if I could fill up this hotel first, but yeah, it looks like this is full, and we still have tourists. Okay, you know what? Let's gouge them a little bit more. I mean, come on, right? We'll go up to a little 2 clicks higher there, and 2 clicks higher here. Eventually, those tourists will stop showing up, right? And we're not being silly, and we're making a little bit more money. And maybe I'll figure out how to deliver more services to them later. Let's see what Money Train's up to. Where is Money Train? Is Money Train alright? Has it broken down? Okay, what's this guy doing? Mixed waste. Okay, well, for some reason it picked up exactly 1 wagon and it's stuck. This distribution office is sucking so far. Where is it? Oh, okay, it's just waiting to get in. There's 2 other trains unloading mixed waste. That's designed to work that way. I might actually add a parking zone if this gets too bad. Maybe even here. Maybe like a little parking area for trains waiting. We'll see how that works out. Okay, I want to talk about the Darien Gap. Okay. A friend of mine from South America said, talk about this as a topic. In case you don't know, the Darien Gap's a region between Costa Rica and Colombia. And it doesn't have a road going through it. So you can't actually drive from the top of North America to the bottom of South America because of the Darien Gap. And it's an example of why capitalism fails. It has no need to innovate. From what I understand, like, cartels sort of control it. Mercenaries sort of make money transporting people through it. And they probably are funded by the US government or something. As you know, the military industrial complex, what it does is it creates unrest in certain countries where they want to get workers, like economically depressed regions. So they fund, gangs to terrorize the locals. The locals want to flee. They blame, the poor people or something. They blame whoever. And then what happens is they go on a migration tour. It's because it's popular and they know about it. They think it's a safe thing, but it's actually not. Watch Mad Max Fury Road. Once you get there, it's, you know what, you just fell into a worse situation. With all due respect to Canada and the US, those countries are not any better than anywhere in South America. Maybe a little bit more money, but a lot of other problems that you're not used to, i.e. winter is much worse than you realize. I've talked about how bad winter is, but a lot of people don't know about it. So they go on this tour through the Darien Gap. A lot of people die on the tour. It's just a horrible journey. I've watched Bald and Bankrupt do it on YouTube. Very silly of him. Was it worth the views? I don't know. Like, in hindsight, that was probably a mistake. But we are civilized people. I'm trying to share with you civilized ideas. I think what the Darien Gap needs is a highway. A highway in some communities. And an investor, like people who build tollways specifically. If you had some communities in the region, you'd actually have, effectively the same thing you see in a lot of major US cities where to go along that highway, you just pay some money. The cartels or whoever run it should manage it, just like in the US, right? Because what's the difference? What's the difference between cartels managing an escort of migrants through a territory or a tollway in any American city? It's just the level of organization is the only difference. So why don't they build a highway through it? I think it should also have a bicycle path so you could actually bike through it because it's beautiful landscape. It's untamed nature, basically. Put a few communities along the way so that people can manage the roads and the people that live there are not displaced. Put away their capitalist ways, right? And become more socialist and maybe be a little bit more supportive of the people that are going through there. Maybe even offer a bus service. So when the migrants show up, take them by a bus. That was my Darien Gap bit. Yeah, I didn't deliver that right. Oh, there is some construction waste getting delivered. Did Money Train drop off? Where is Money Train? What's it up to? Is it doing it again? Oh, it's unloading. Great. I wonder if we can catch Money Train real quick once it's done unloading. Because Money Train shouldn't be doing this. This train is going to break down and it'll block all the other trains. Let's do a topic here. Talk about my favorite clown. You know who my favorite clown is? The clown from It, Pennywise. Why? Because Pennywise is dope. Okay. That was my favorite clown, the clown from It. Like, what other clowns are there? How many clowns am I going to list? Bozo the Clown? Like, I know, oh yeah, I watched Bozo the Clown. Should have named a politician or a billionaire. Oh, zing. One of the billionaires? Should I? There's one billionaire especially to despise. The one who wasted, I'll say actually it was closer to 2 years of my life on Amazon trying to deal with the baloney, and I made no money off it. If I get no subscribers and no one watches this show, I'm better off doing this than continuing with Amazon because I'm just as obscure. I thought Amazon would promote me by being on their platform, but no, if you're a small solo 1 or 2, maybe 3-person operation, no, they don't promote you at all. You got to spend your own money on the side and you'll make nothing. I actually had to pay money to operate. I had to pay them. I had a negative salary. There's hobos on the street that did better than me being on Amazon. But I won't name names for billionaires that I think are absolute clowns that I could do, absolutely certain I could do better than if given the opportunity. Absolutely certain. I know enough about software and cloud-based systems. I've developed numerous, okay? And I don't have a rich connection, so you got to watch this crap show instead. All right, we're getting through the topics here. Actually, let's do another topic here. I want to talk about the power of the suit. What does the suit do? Do you ever notice when someone with a suit walks into a room, you go, oh, that's the guy in charge. That's the guy we have to listen to. They know better, right? The guy has a suit. Have you ever wondered that? It's because you're sociologically trained to follow what people in the suit say. So it could be pretty much anything they say or talk about, and you'll consider them as an authority figure. In fact, if I wear a suit for one of these episodes, I bet you it will do exceptionally well and get a lot of impressions and views because it conveys authority, right? So that's the power of the suit. It's a bit of a trick. It's kind of like a monument or brainwashing propaganda like a television show or a YouTube channel where it makes you listen to it and you just think it knows better, but it doesn't. It's just a suit. And then my experience is most people in suit, they're generally sociopaths. I'll say most people in suits are sociopaths. Like they're aware of the power of the suit. The people that wear the suit are aware of its power and the little things they got to do. It's like they're almost just walking around just to show off the suit and let the suit just show up there and say, here's my suit. You know you got to get to work. Look at the suit, right? It's kind of self-evident. Another unscripted bit here. Okay, we got a mechanical component shortage issue. How is this possible? Thank God I have early notifications. Okay, I think we need more. We got enough steel. Once people were dying last winter, I had to cut a lot of jobs to make things kind of work. Our census in end of February was just over 17,000. We gained 600 people this fast. That's how fast it grows. So I almost want to lower the population growth rate, but eventually they're going to run out of houses anyways. So that should correct itself. Also, I want to make sure here our distribution office is not selling any mechanical components. Actually, it's over here, the one that could be selling them. Are we selling mechanical component? Oh, we are. That's silly. It's especially silly when you consider we're going to be having Dumpovision make electronics soon. Okay, why doesn't asphalt show up here? We have no asphalt arriving in our Dumpovision building here. We have enough dumpers. Is there a problem with the asphalt plant? Ooh, we're short on gravel. We're really short on gravel. But it should be able to. Yeah, that's quite suspicious. There's no asphalt arriving. Are we short on bitumen? Did I not notice? We are out of bitumen. And what's bringing the bitumen? I changed something between episodes and that's one of them, I guess. Now, why is the bitumen not being delivered? Okay, stop delivering it from the Canada distribution office. And this SO, I never added bitumen back. Oh my God. I prep for a show and one little mistake causes a complete catastrophe. That's why everyone's waiting. Let's add, see, it even loads bitumen here, but it does not deliver it. Okay, we got to get bitumen in immediately. Oh my God. Something was suspicious. Like my workers are not that slow. They absolutely can deliver bitumen faster than that. I just forgot it, I guess. Okay, so this truck here, I wish we could make this thing move faster, but everything is waiting on this bitumen. Whoopsies. And this causes, like, think of all the chaos this causes. All these, this was the whole time was the problem. Okay, let's see if our little bit of track's gotten built here. Has it figured it out? Is it finished off? It has. Okay, we have nothing else really to build. I don't know if I want to build that piece of track until this thing's completed. Okay, so you know what we're going to do with this guy? We're going to flip him around and we're going to send him here and cause all kinds of new chaos with projects on this side of the world. And we are going to stop delivering maglev workers for real, for permanent real, for quite a while actually. And this guy will get flagged for repairs and we'll send him to the repair shop. And we'll grab our Brento's car as well. I wonder if I should keep delivering because we do have a fire station here. We're not going to get any more firefighters if this stops operating. I think maybe I'll just put Brento's car. Actually, let's send it for repairs. And I'll think about it for later. That's the end of that for the rail development. Yeah, now we're going to wait on that bitumen. So our ability to get Dumpovision built on time. You never know what's going to happen in this show, right? I really like this 5 stars hotel. You know what? Let's be a little bit bold here. I think we can. Let's build a zoo. I think we'll build a zoo too. Let's be creative here. I will add U.S. Construction Office. And yeah, we just these two offices. I don't want the swap team involved. There we go. I think the zoo will bring in more money or allow us to gouge our tourists a little bit more. We'll see about that. Here's a deep thought. If humans can't smell poison ivy, but bears do, maybe we inadvertently protect ourselves from bears because of it. I don't know. That was something I was thinking about the other day. Why is poison ivy in certain... Why do you see it when in camping areas, but not commonly in a city, right? It's in rural, undeveloped areas, you'll see poison ivy. And you'll see bears too, but the bears maybe leave you alone and maybe you blissfully walk around it. I don't know. Just a deep thought. Not by Jack Handy, by Brento. Let's see if we can catch Money Train. What's it doing? How come it can't unload? Is there... It must be... No, it just can't unload. I don't get this. There's something glitched there. Let's send it back. Did it? It didn't teleport. It did teleport. Holy, okay. Yeah, how do I break up a train? I don't know what's going on here. I'm going to send Money Train there. And we'll see how this works out. And it still has its wagons on it. And it's completely ignored what I just said. I said go there. I don't get it. There's some issues with Money Train. See if Money Train can figure out how to get back to the depot. The rail signals are a little screwy there, but I think there is a way for it to do it. It should be able to do this. Oh my God, look at this. We got to get it so that the train is capable of flipping around and not go through the next signal. I said, don't go through the next signal. Flip around. Good. Okay, now it should be able to do it. Figure out a way, you stupid train. 2 ways there. 2 ways there. 2 ways there. Yeah, it's 2 ways all the way. It can definitely go forward. Okay. This silly train. I should have actually tested this a little bit before doing that. Maybe this episode's more to do with the distribution office than Dumpovision. I wore the wig because it has to do with a big media scam I'm going to tell you about later. It's something you never realized about the nature of reality you live in. And although my topics are weird and just bizarre and strange, see how those are all different ways of describing, there's no redundancy in any of that. If Elon Musk were to invest in a sequel to Workers and Resources, what would promote him to do that? What would convince him? So here, Elon, you see, people are made happy by food and health and communism and alcohol and culture and sports, religious sympathy, clothing, and criminality. These are the things that contribute to their happiness. But why don't they have a vehicle production line? Maybe we have Teslas, right? You could put the Tesla logo in here too. So that would affect their happiness. If I owned a Tesla, I'd be very happy. It also means other things in your life are good if you can afford one. But where's the Tesla meter? I think that would be a reason for Elon to sponsor the sequel. And I'd be okay with that. Because I'm suggesting, of course, I'd be okay with that. It would increase their happiness. I don't know. Like, you'd have to do some surveys of people who own Teslas versus those who don't and see how much happier they are. But I suspect they are happier than if they don't own a Tesla. So that would be if Elon were to invest in the sequel and put EVs and no other kinds of EVs, only Teslas, because you got to put that Tesla logo right in here. Maybe you have two various other brands in there, right? Okay, wait a second. This is not the train I thought. I thought this was... Okay, this train is going to have to go in here. I thought that was a money train we were grabbing. I guess not. I can't tell the difference. Where is Money Train? What's it doing? Is it stalled? No, it didn't. hold on. Something's weird's going on here. Where is Money Train? Oh, they're all coming at the same time. I know this is possible. I shouldn't be doing this much track building while doing a show. Realistic mode track building is challenging sometimes. Okay, and we got another one here. They all are arriving at the same time. And I'm just gonna, oh no, I don't know if we have room for it. Let's put this guy in now. I'll deal with him later. We got too many track builders doing too much track building at once. Okay, this guy needs to go back here. We do have construction waste in there though, so that's a positive. We should be able to make some gravel. We're slowly processing it. I'm trying to do a show, doing too many topics. Being a clown. How do you like your clown show? Oh my god, why is this guy... Why is the track builder even going this way? There's nothing for it to build there. It just couldn't... Oh, I think... So you have this option to automatically send track builders back to the rail construction office if they're already there, but I guess if they're not based there, they can't teleport over. And I guess they put that in for a reason. Don't give the priority to... Of course the track builder cuts in front of new Money Train. Like how are we doing for food? Yeah, we're in a rush to get food too. Just perfect. Good, let's send Money Train to the scrapyard. That's where it belongs. God. There's a lot of quirky behavior in this game, but at least we're going to get rid of Money Train once and for all. That's probably the last time it'll see service. You know what we haven't talked about? The reason I think Microsoft is spying on me. So I was transferring some backups of Dump City onto an external drive, and suddenly Windows lost support for that drive during the transfer. It looked at the drive and said, "Oh, that's really old. I don't think I'm going to allow you to transfer to that drive," and it just stopped the transfers. Just disabled support for it. It's done that with my printers and various other peripherals in the past, so I can only assume they're spying on me and they don't like it that I'm pointing out the fact that they engineer obsolescence by making old products go bad faster than normal. So that's why I suspect they were spying on me. And they're like, "Oh, hey, we're allowed to do this. This isn't antitrust or anything. So let's just disable support for that old hard drive. And this way he can't back up his show. And his show is telling us about it. So it lets us cover up the evidence." So that's why I think they're spying on me. Also, it could be that it's a really old drive and it's just not working too. But I'd go with the spying. It probably is to a certain degree. It's just clearly got spyware built into it. Probably mostly for advertising purposes, but again, spying is spying. Okay, look at all our workers. Now we have bitumen. Everything's working again. Did we get through that stage? Oh my god, that was just the worst thing. A single click. You saw that? I had to click. The solution was this distribution office needed a bitumen delivery. Nothing else works without it. That's crazy. This game's too realistic. I wish they were a little smarter than that. I wish the Sims could go, "Hey, we need bitumen. Oh, we'll just go and update your distribution office." But no. Top-down authority. Obviously, capitalism, it's designed to fail from the top down, but socialist nations can fail for that reason too. So let's not forget, whenever you have authority figures, whether it's socialist or capitalist, and no one double checks what they're doing, no one checks if bitumen's getting to the asphalt plant, then, it's always better to have two sets of eyes than one, no matter the government. At least in socialism, you could just take an average person and do it, but under capitalism, you have to have a rich person control everything. At least the 5 Stars Hotel worked. One success story in the episode. Are we going to get Dumpovision done on time? This is a big factory. Like, 1,000 work days and how much time's left in the episode? Yeesh, this is going to be a challenge. Maybe I shouldn't have schedule this zoo at the same time. The zoo looks like it's going to get done faster. Look how fast this thing's going. Sometimes I prep an episode too much, and then I should probably run it for a little bit and then like start the show, but this is getting quite chaotic, like just dealing with the problems of the city. I think season 2 is going to be less about showing you new game mechanics and new builds and more about just topics and just the city operations in the background. And, you know, if an earthquake hits or something, like, I just feel like karma says an earthquake should hit this. It feels like we're just due. It's been like 4 or 5 years since we've had one. And just FYI, what are we building with these 2-track builders? I'll show you. Our metro system is going into the lake now. Check this out. See? We're going into the lake. Our tunnel borer jumps in now and then. See if it's out. Not right now. It's not doing any tunnel boring, but it might jump in shortly. And where else are we building tracks? We're building around the city here. Round and round. We're trying to get into this area here and into this here, and then it's going to go into here, and then there's a new rail construction office here. So we'll start building the metro from this side once it can reach here, and the tracks in this area from this rail construction office, because we're getting a little far. There's a lot of dead hauling when it goes that long of a distance. I want to talk to you about an idea for a new mini-series or drama. You ever see Dallas? It was like from the 1980s. It was a popular show. Great propaganda show. A guy named J.R. Ewing. It was a show to indoctrinate the commoners to, you know, worship the rich and to understand the rich are better. So I have an idea. Because, you know, Western society's on a decline. You know, the oil barons are eventually going to become regular people because they're just dumb. They're just not investing properly, and they don't see the writing on the walls. And we know China's the new rising power. Socialism's going to spread to America eventually. So I have an idea for a modern version of Dallas. If you'd seen the Dallas, look this up, obviously, after watching this show. Don't look it up while listening to this, but listen to the Dallas theme song. It's actually a really good theme song. One of the top 10 best ever, I would say, for any shows, the Dallas theme song. And my idea for a new modern series is called Beijing. Okay? And it's presented in exactly the same stylistic way, but you show the skyscrapers of Beijing and the freeways and the rails that dwarf puny Dallas. Like, Dallas is, nowadays it's a demonstration of how capitalism is inferior when you compare it to a city like Beijing. So I think that's an idea that maybe a YouTube producer could make and have, like, instead of J.R. Ewing, have J.R.U. YU or something. Beijing, new miniseries on YouTube. I don't know. I advertised this as something that was going to be in the show, my idea for a TV series. And there it is. Not everything's gold, okay? Not everything that glitters is gold. Some of it is just crap. I'd like to actually consult with YouTube on the algorithm, because I think it doesn't understand the psychology of the person I'm trying to market to. So therefore, what it does is it just guesses based on some surface level metrics. Like, my viewers are going to be smarter than probably 90% of the people. So if you're listening to this, the impression you're seeing should go to the top 10% smartest people. That's what this show is supposed to target. And if you're maybe not the smartest person, but you just like the funny stuff, that's great too. But odds are, if you're watching this, you're in the top 10 percentile. But the algorithm looks at just general interests. Like, this has a broad set of interests. If you were to just guess based on interests, it wouldn't make sense. The actual underlying theme to all of this show is it's clever. There's various things happening at the same time to entertain you. whilst you're hearing topics. So it's a little better than your average variety show, a little bit better than your average gaming show. But you have to be open-minded. You got to understand. You can't just look at some guy like sitting by a video game and just stop watching instantly. Like, imagine I was to literally be Penguin Zero and I said the exact same words and the exact same emphasis with the exact same storytelling ability. Let's say I practiced it and did it even better than he did, but I have a game up here in the background and you wouldn't watch it. That's ridiculous. What kind of a viewer would just dismiss it? Is it because you're not branded enough? Do you need to see the show enough times on repeat to trust this is just whatever in the background? Or watching virtual communism play out, okay? Whoop-de-doo. I can still talk about other things. Not everything's about this game and not everything's about communism. There's other things in life. I would hope the YouTube algorithm would know better. Some of my clips get like 10 impressions. It's like, how is anyone going to know if that's good or not? Is there just one banker looking at it going, no, that's too socialist, end all further impressions? Is there someone doing that? It just doesn't make sense. I think a machine does a lot of it, but I'd like to consult with YouTube on how to improve the algorithm a little bit, just general. I'd like to know a little bit about it first and then point out where the error is made. Because, again, I am an expert software engineer and I have developed a lot of products. I'm a patent holder, so that does make me, I do have a bit of a nerd cred, so to speak. And I am pretty sure I could make your algorithm target markets a little bit better based on some data that might be there. You can't just set the dollar and, oh, it works good enough and walk away. You could always do better. So YouTube, hire me as a consultant and I'll help you fix the algorithm to maximize revenues. Short term and long term, you'll make more money with a little bit of insight from someone just starting out on YouTube. Okay, are we going to get Dumpovision built? Oh, it's accelerating a little bit. Little bit here. Oh my god. What a disaster with the bitumen. Like, if I was playing solo, I might just load from a save because that was such a loss of money. Look at that, we built our zoo first. Good amount of employees. Yeah, that seems like a decent amount of employees. It's better to have too much content than not enough. Some of this is just awful. Why was I wearing that stupid wig at the start of the show? What the heck does Dumpovision have to do with that wig and the big media scam? The world's biggest media scam exposed. Final topic. That is not going to be till the end. It's the only good thing on this show. You've suffered this long. You got to hear the good part. So I promise you will find that interesting. You will find that interesting. One thing I advertised I would talk about is shocking levels of lies. Let's zoom in on the zoo here and the carousel. The shocking level of lies that people will tolerate. Here are the 3 shocking levels of lies. The first level of lying is lying about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny. You tell this to kids, they don't know better. They slowly realize you're lying to them. Your kids will trust you less when they realize you lied to them and it was socially acceptable. The people around you were in on it, right? That's why it's a little egregious when you think about lying about Santa Claus and the Easter Bunny and various other myths, okay? But a lot of people do this. This is probably one of the most universally accepted forms of lying, is when you lie to kids and then the adults will look at the other adults, say that's okay, and the child just looks and goes, what do you mean? First level of indoctrination. The second level, okay, this is going to get more controversial, just a bit of a warning here, is religion, okay? Now, I'm not anti-religious. Religion has its purposes. It's a way of, in my mind, it's a way of socially training people to behave certain ways. If you're young and you go to church, You're going to learn things. I'm talking all religions. Every religion. If it's a religion, even if it's the Zoroastrianism, okay? If it's a religion, it's a training process. And the facts are actually misleading inside it. But we tolerate it. A lot of people, I don't go to church regularly, but I know a lot of people do. And I'll just say, yeah, okay. I see how it's helping a lot of people. The actual story of Jesus is a whole other thing. Jesus actually was a real person, but the scripture is lost. I'm probably more akin to a Jesus-like figure doing a show like this than what you're taught in most churches. Consumerism has nothing to do with Jesus, okay? Making money, nothing to do with Jesus. Feeding the poor, a little bit more to do with Jesus, okay? And other religions, Muhammad, whatever prophet you want to believe in, it's not real, okay? If you're Hindu, whatever, it's not. It's part of a control mechanism. That's the second level of shocking lie. But there's a third level that's going to rock you a little bit here, okay? It's the fact that tax cuts for the rich help you. That's the deepest lie of all. That the sacrifices you make for the extra funding to the top 1 or 2% so that they can share their wisdom. These people are idiots. That's the big joke. That you're actually being duped into just sacrificing your life to make their life more comfortable. And meanwhile, you did all the work the whole time. You should have been rewarded, but you didn't. You always trusted that tax cuts for the rich made sense. And that's the biggest shocking lie of all, in my opinion. I wish there was a timer I could see when we're about to go bankrupt. And we do go bankrupt almost every day here, by the way. Well, every few days we go bankrupt. It's like every third day we got to get bailed out. Things are not perfect yet. We're building electronics, and there's only one good topic left, and the show is mercifully coming to an end. Maybe we'll be able to squeeze in one of these other ones here before the end of the show. Again, I get these reports given to me by reporters and writers alike, and just general clowns. I write more than 1%, I'll say, but I won't say what percent that actually is. Okay, look at this. Maybe a few too many. Should we raise the price a little bit? Yeah, let's raise the price. The more money, the better, right? If we have too many tourists showing up, how else do you deal with the tourist problem? Could buy more buses. But our hotel's kind of full anyways. If our hotel's full, I think this is about as good as we can do. We got to raise the price a little bit more. Oof, that's getting up there. Max price. This one here, well, it's not quite a total ripoff. The zoo's getting a little bit more expensive. How's our gallery? Oh, this is way too cheap. And we have way too many workers here. Let's cut that down to 5. That's a crappy art gallery. Is this train gonna... I think this one might fit. This one looks a little bit shorter. Yay, that one worked. I'm a pro gamer. I think we're going to need some more electric trains for future episodes. I wanted this to be done like with 20 or 30 minutes to go. So I could... Oh my god, these... I don't have enough construction waste. I wanted this to be done early, so I wanted to show you some setups. Actually, let's set things up a little bit here. I'm going to add some extra stations to our distribution office. One of them is going to be here. Another is going to be right here. And you're like, what? Why would you add those 2 buildings to your rail distribution network? What's so specific about them? I better pause here just in case they're going to load something I don't expect. Okay, so at Dumpovision Warehouse and San Diego Warehouse, here we have our mechanical components facility, the San Diego Warehouse, and you'll notice we have some in the warehouse. So what we want to do is we want to load, let's say when there's 50 for now. I think this number should be different, but I don't care if we're efficient. I want this to basically work. The smoke test, as they call it in engineering. And I wanted to, at the same destination, unload plastic, electronics, and fabric, and electrical components, and that's it for now. Okay? Because all these things are used by our vehicle repair station. So the vehicle repair station has mechanical components made on site, so it doesn't need it. But the problem is the other components need to be brought in. But what does Dumpovision Warehouse make? Well, is at Dumpovision Warehouse, we're going to unload mechanical components. Let's set these to, set everything at 50. Adjust as needed if you're doing this in your game. But this is where a Dumpovision Warehouse is going to make electronics, plastic, and electrical components. So now I can hit on pause, and if a train happens to see this, it will be okay. We also happen to need chemicals at Dumpovision Warehouse, and we should probably get those from China. Oh, sorry, China. I mispronounced it. And we should also be able to get fabric from there too. This fabric setup was a mistake. We're at 2 clothing factories and 1 fabric. It needs 2 fabric facilities. The repairs eat so much fabric. It needs basically its own fabric facility. So you live, you learn. Dumpovision's coming along here. We just need more steel. How are we doing for steel? We're supposed to be being... Oh my god, we're out of steel. And all our trains are... So we're not going to finish this without the steel. Oh my god. I wish I would have tested this a little bit more before pressing record. But it is what it is. That distribution office is supposed to be picking up steel, but it's not. So this guy will do that. Add a bit of steel. Add a second truck to do that. We'll just look at the route we just found. This guy's grabbing steel, and we will add it to this guy here. And we got 2 guys grabbing steel. There you go. That's how you... That's the dumb way. If you're dumb, that's how you keep your steel supplied. This never happens when I'm playing single player, or playing alone between episodes. But I'm just talking too much. I'm not... Look at this. And these are taking way too long to load up. It's just one stupid waste wagon at the end that's the problem. By next episode, I think I'll have at least 2 more electric locomotives in the distribution office. Because that's why we ran out of steel. Like, the distribution office does deliver steel to open storage, and it does buy the steel. Actually, it doesn't buy the steel. I thought it bought the steel. I should have tested it once before starting the show. Now it buys the steel, but it wouldn't have mattered because all the locomotives are in use anyways, right? Yeah, well, at least we got a zoo built. That's kind of interesting. Maybe we could fire some workers, because fire some workers and increase the price. Too many tourists showing up. But you know what? Look at this. I'll just show you here. Look at that. Well, that's one of our season goals. It's to have 20,000 people and $2 million. And I think the tourism's doing good. That's the only thing that's, like, learn from this. Oh my god, forget all the other industries. Just gouge people with the tourism. Seems like this has just become relatively economically independent. Not totally economic. I could build another hotel even. We probably could use more shuttles. I do have a line here I want to do. Because we do have some workers. It's called Discount Tours. Never tested it. Maybe we can get this running. This bus might not have been repaired to start the episode, but now it's repaired. I thought our annoying tourists were going to go away, but they just keep showing up. This is what happens when you give too much money to rich people. They don't know how to spend it. And this is why tax cuts for the rich are failing, or why giving too much money to rich people is because they end up spending on things like tourism. So this whole tourist thing here, this is essentially not good for the economy. Like in a real, true economy. Nothing's being made. It doesn't feed everyone. There's people's needs being omitted because we're catering to these people. And what actually happens to the rich people is they start getting gouged too. So again, I'm not hating rich people because they are rich. I am hating the system that allows people to get rich and have no other option but to spend it this way and to get gouged, because that's what people will do to rich people, is they'll gouge you if you're rich and you're watching this. And that's not good either. Because there's no formal tax, they just gouge you. But wouldn't it be nice? Yeah, let's say your top marginal tax goes up 20-30%. Okay? Instead of making 5 million clear a year, you're only making 4 million clear a year. Okay? Hypothetical situation. But everything in a socialist nation, there'd be rules on price gouging. So that those vacations that people are ripping you off, or that luxury car that's gouging you because they can and they have a monopoly over luxury goods, you'll be able to get it more affordably. So your purchasing power might not even change. So net effect is it would actually have almost no effect on you. Less money, but it would be the same purchasing power effectively. So you'd just be like a psychopath if you're against taxing the rich. It doesn't really make sense to be against it. It makes no economic sense to give tax cuts to the rich. We've explained that many times over many episodes, and it's proven, millionaire flight does not exist. Look at the numbers. It's facts. The inconvenient facts are there. I think by the time this show is really popular, people will understand, the purpose of it, to the information that you do need to tax the wealthy in order to balance society, to keep the nation running. But until then, there's very few people pointing out this fact, and that's all I can do, right, is tell you what makes economic sense and what doesn't. I'm going to talk about my theory of cities. Okay, have you ever been to certain cities or certain districts where crime or greed or tourism or Hollywood or something like that is what makes that city famous? You ever think about why this persists over generations? Like, the thing to understand most would be why crime exists. Why do high crime areas exist from generation to generation? It stems from the fact there's no industry or opportunity for anyone living in that area to be a regional mogul. Any industrialist in a poor community doesn't exist. The best you may be allowed to be is like a pizza shop owner. That's the level of industrialization that will be tolerated in a ghetto. Okay? Therefore, the money doesn't flow to anyone in the ghetto. It just flows out of the ghetto. Very little opportunity. People get angry. They get frustrated sometimes. They lash out. Suddenly there's a criminal statistic, right? People have to come up with schemes and scams. They, break into other people's houses, all kinds of nonsense just to survive. And do you ever wonder why it lasts generation to generation? Well, it's because capitalists do not live there. And if a large city that had a district in it that was poor understood this, the people at the top would deliberately require that owners of certain companies live in certain communities. And I assure you, if that was the case, the culture that gets passed on how to survive generation to generation would change. So, think of criminal culture. There's people out there who they can't get a job because they're straight up criminals, right? They're active criminals. Hey, I'm a criminal. I do things. What's the point of me trying? There's no incentive for me to stop being a criminal because there's no opportunities, because the rules are stupid and we don't allow these people a way out. There should be an option where you say, okay, you know what? Come talk to us. We'll wipe your record. But if you commit any crimes going forward, yeah, you're going to get in trouble, right? So give them at least one opportunity. I know they have the 3 strikes you're out in some places, but this idea that a city will continue the culture, the street mentality from generation to generation is ridiculous. The fact that we allow that to happen. And the rich people, just so you understand the minds of the psychopaths that cause this problem, is they want these poor communities so that, they can have people come clean their houses, take care of their yards. They want servants, so they give you, those are your only opportunities is low-paying jobs to work for them, even though these buffoons are probably dumber than their servants. And truthfulness. There's probably entrepreneurs. I'll say statistically, there's more smart entrepreneurs in a ghetto than your average upper-class community. Just the opportunities aren't there. Again, zip code has more to do with success in life than any other variable. It's the highest correlative statistic when determining success. So if you want to end crime, which a lot of people don't, because the rich and powerful who control society don't want to end crime, but if some people actually did take an interest in ending crime, that's what you would do. You'd move the industries into these districts, and I think a lot of things would solve themselves. So yeah, that's my theory of cities. Okay, what do we got here? All the trains are jammed up. Why are they? Okay, this guy can't unload. What's going on? Like, it's just not unloading. It's like there's a bug in it or something. It's unable to unload. How long's this been going on for? Ooh, long enough that one of these trains has to go back. Okay, this train only has 29 tens. Let's send it back to workplace. Yoink. Okay, so when they're in distribution office, they gain teleport abilities. Very realistic, of course. Of course, teleport abilities makes a perfect sense. Oh my god, this was blocking the traffic, and this probably was stopping. Oh my god, look at the butterfly effect here. Oh my god. By next episode, I think this will run a lot smoother, but oh my god, Dumpovision is very delayed. Very delayed. Okay, and they're missing steel. Well, at least the trucks would have been able to successfully stockpile some steel, I think. I'm going to flip out and just hit stop on the show. What is this? How come he's unload? What am I doing? Oh, I got this backwards. I'm going to flip out. This route is backwards. Ah. What was on that truck? Just in case it has a problem. Yeah, it's got wood. Okay, so yikes. This Dumpovisions, I can't believe the problems. This was our backup, and our backup failed. All right, well, we might go a little over time with this episode. I screw up a lot, okay? But I'm here to entertain. Maybe this screwing up is what's entertaining you. Maybe you'd rather watch me screw up. Schadenfreude, right? There hasn't been any starvation, so there's one. Oh, and there, finally. Look at the stupid steel trucks that made one delivery before our distribution office came and dealt with it. Okay, this will definitely finish up Dumpovision. And now, I gotta talk about the big media scam. Have you ever thought about the big scam of your life? The big misleading reality you live in? The entertainers and the electronics you subscribe to, the products you buy, the Apples, the Android devices, the Toshibas, the Sonys, every single electronic device that you can watch an entertainer like Brento, like one of the big industry moguls, has a conspiracy behind it. There's something more to it. It is the fact that the makers of these electronics directly fund the entertainers. So, I'm going to be producing Dumpovision screens, Dumpovision tablets coming soon for you to watch Dump City. And the only thing you'll ever be able to watch on a Dumpovision device is Dump City. It doesn't, for some reason, allow you to watch anything else. Now, you might joke and say, that's ridiculous. Why would someone buy an electronic device that only shows me a limited set of content creators? Then the nature of your reality sinks in, and you wonder why there are so few actual content creators that show up in your actual feed. Why is that? That's because the big conspiracy of your life is that electronic makers fund the entertainers to make you watch more television than you should watch. They use the television to convince you, for example, you should watch every episode of Dump City. Right? So now you need more televisions. By the way, Sony, Toshiba, Apple, Android, you send me a little bit of money. Just a little bit of money, okay? And I'll say that Dumpovisions aren't the only devices that Dump City works on. You can use other manufacturers as well, but that will cost a little bit of money. But that there is the scam of capitalism. The fact that capitalism lets you do that, that's pretty ridiculous. The fact that we tolerate that is ridiculous. It doesn't really make sense that a society would allow such behavior, because it's very, just watching someone entertain and creating an industry to watch entertainers doesn't make any sense. Like, there should be a limited amount of entertainment that you have, unless robots do everything, in which case maybe this is the only industry. But we're denying a lot of robot jobs right now, so this is the biggest scam of all time. How the electronics and entertainment industry are united this way. A lot of people are unaware of this and they watch way too much television. But in truth, the only thing you need to watch is Dump City, because everything else is a waste of your time and everyone else is a liar. So just keep that in mind. All right, we're going to have to wind up this episode. As soon as Dumpovision's built, I'm going to sign out. The second it's built, I showed you how the rail distribution office is moving the goods around. And ultimately, we'll be able to sell electronics, Dumpovisions, to Canada. That will be working in the next episode. Now, the question is, are we going to finish Dumpovision? I'm not going to fail 3 times in a row. This episode's going to go on for 4 hours. We're going to stare at this for 4 hours if need be, if required to finish it. And I think I'm going to sign out the second this ends, like to the second. Okay, we're getting a bunch of workers. That's going to go real rapidly. Obviously, if there's other parts of the show, other questions you have in the city, watch all other episodes. Some episodes I'm just doing university stuff or just doing tourist stuff. But every episode we got, this is the Dumpovision episode, okay? We're focusing on Dumpovision. And we're going to be selling electronics to export Dump City to the rest of the world. And that's it. Dumpovisions live. We're going to obviously not start with this many workers. That's absolutely ridiculous. Let's start with 5 if 5 even show up. But we got to get our goods moved in because they can't even do anything. Nice and smooth build. Everything went as planned. No issues at all. And that was the smoothest non-traffic jam episode ever. So I hope you enjoyed it. And, leave comments below. And yeah, I will see you next week.